Your compliance team hands you an AI governance checklist with 47 items. And then you've got green check marks all the way down the page. And yet, when your board asks, "Are we ready for AI?" you hesitate. Why? Because you know something that the checklist did not capture. Checking boxes and being prepared are two different things. Now, here's the gap that keeps showing up in the data. A recent Chime study found that 84% of health systems now have an AI governance committee. They've got strong executive participation. CIOs on 63% of them, CMIOs on 45%, but only 8% describe themselves as very confident in their ability to identify emerging AI risks. Committees exist, but confidence doesn't. That's not a compliance failure, it's a language failure. Compliance language was designed for stable, well-defined requirements. HIPAA has rules, you follow them or you don't. The Joint Commission has guidance. The Joint Commission has standards. You meet them or you don't. AI governance doesn't work that way, not yet. The guidance is principle-based, not prescriptive. It tells you what responsible oversight should include, but it doesn't tell you exactly how to build it. So when executives try to use compliance language for AI, they hit a wall. They ask, "Are we compliant?" when the real question is, "Are we defensible?" Those are different questions with different answers. Compliance asks, "Did we check the required boxes?" Defensibility asks, "If something goes wrong, can we explain how we made the decision and why?" Compliance is binary. You pass or you fail. Defensibility is a posture. It's about demonstrating reasonable judgment under uncertainty. And here's what I've observed. Compliance language actually makes executives less confident, not more, because they're looking for certainty that doesn't exist yet. They want a checklist that guarantees safety, and when they can't find it, they proverbially freeze. Executives who are moving forward today aren't ignoring compliance. They're reframing the question. They're asking, what does the regulation require? They're asking, what would a reasonable, well-governed organization do with the information available today? That shift changes everything. It moves you from paralysis to action, from waiting for someone to tell you what to do to building a story that you can defend. Consider what happens when something goes wrong. Regulators, litigators, and boards don't ask, "Did you check box 23 like you do on a security questionnaire?" They ask, "What did you know? When did you know it? What did you do about it?" They're looking for evidence of judgment. A compliance checklist doesn't show judgment, it shows activity. A defensible government posture shows decisions. Who approved this tool? What evidence did they rely on? How were concerns escalated? What happened when performance drifted? That's the difference between documentation and governance. Organizations that can tell a story will be in a very different position than organizations that can only produce a spreadsheet of green check marks. So here's my challenge for you this week. Take your current AI governance documentation, not the committee roster, not the policy manual, the actual evidence of decisions. Ask yourself, if a regulator or a board member asked me to explain how we govern AI, could I tell a coherent story? Or would I just hand them a checklist? If the answer is checklist, well, that's your work. And it's not because checklists are wrong, but because they're just not enough. And that story that you're building, it has to include another element most governance structures miss. What happens when the vendor changes something without telling you? That's what we're going to talk about next.